family has had encounters with extraterrestrials, I guess is what we'll call it, several times. But since you have been reporting this, you said that the military and people had been harassing you. Is that true?
Well, even before we reported it, Montel, it began the first time we even contacted anyone in UFO research to help us find out what was happening with our family. We met 2 different times late into the evening with the UFO research group in Dallas, and both times we left there in the middle of the night, we were followed by unmarked white cars through 3 towns, because it was three or four towns away from where we lived. This was the beginning of human surveillance. Then we began to have telephone interference only when we would be discussing UFO subjects.
What do you mean by telephone interference?
Talking with someone else about the subject in the middle of a conversation, and from time to time, particular subjects seemed to trigger the interference. We would be in the middle of a conversation, there'd be a series of loud clicks on the phone, and the phone would go dead. Sometimes voices would come on the phone and drown one person out from hearing the other. We would get harassing phone calls in the middle of the night.
Harassing from who?
Never identified.
What did they say?
Nothing.
So people just call, ring, and then hang up?
Right. Which we hadn't had before. I mean, I know you do get some calls, but these were almost regular. Then we began to have helicopter activity over a house we'd lived in for 5 years with no helicopter activity. Once we had begun to report these things within the UFO community, we began to have helicopters that often were military, sometimes were so totally unmarked, black with the black glass. In the middle of the night, so low the windows would almost break in the house. Sometimes 9 a day, as many as 9 a day, buzzing our house.
Do you live near an airport?
No, well, we had lived in the house for 5 years with no helicopters over the house. Now we began to have them time and time again. I got them on photo and video as much as I could, but we could never find the source of these. And then my daughter-in-law, who was in the ROTC program at the university, was asked to sign up for what duty she wanted after graduation, and she chose meteorology, and she was a physics major, and her ROTC sergeant said, no, you can't do that. You've got to sign up for R&D. Don't you want to work with the UFOs and the alien projects? Don't you want to know what the Air Force really knows that we don't tell anyone else? And this terrified her so much she dropped out of the program because she knew somebody had been listening enough to us under surveillance to know she was part of this ongoing activity. Cool. And the final thing was when my husband was abducted by military personnel in November of '88, drugged, questioned, and threatened about our involvement, what we knew about the aliens and what our family had been involved with them, and when he wouldn't answer, he was knocked out and doesn't know what happened to him after that.
But he recalls being abducted.
Yes, he does. He recalls the center of the abduction experience. There is a mind control procedure that can be used to keep you so dazed and confused you don't know what's going on until it sort of lifts where you can be questioned, and then they knocked him totally back out.
I have a silly question, though. Did he ever report to anybody? Somebody came in my house and grabbed me and took me out and drugged me? He never reported it?
No, he did not report it because he had absolutely no evidence of it.